Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Ted.
Right, the Nerdarch.
Nerdarchy Dave.
And in this GM 911, we're going to address Killer Orcs, run away!
If you have a GM 911, you can send us an email over at nerdarchy@gmail.com, or you can head over to the GM 911 section of our forums over on nerdarchy.com.
Okay, so Hippo.
So we have a GM 911 from Hippo.
So somehow an animal, an aquatic mammal, has learned to type with its massive feet. So that's pretty impressive in of itself.
And he wrote the campaign, started the players off at level 3 to jump right into the action. It gives them more wiggle room and less death possibilities right off the bat. First encounter, they run into a group of 5 orcs. After felling 2 of them, they run away from the encounter. They run away from town, and he wants to know...
Steal a boat.
Steal a boat. What do I do now? Orcs are pillaging the town that they were supposed to be there to protect. And he's kind of stuck.
Yeah, well, so apparently there's other Orcus raids happening, and the whole thesis of Hippo's adventure hinged on the players intervening on behalf of the town.
So one of the things Hippo wants to know is how to help him improv, and so essentially it sounds like Hippo has written out his story and the players to route it. He doesn't know what to do, but it's not really that hard. Like, here's the deal. Like, actually, we don't know if Hippo's a he or a she.
They. We'll go with they. Yeah.
They. Hippo. If they did this and they sack the town or whatever, and the players run away, have the next town get sacked as well. Like, you could literally have the threat keep following them within reason, as long as like they're linear in the same path.
Progression, yeah.
You know, or or they hear about these other towns being raided, or something comes up, something in the town they actually have to go back for now.
Or I mean, okay, the players maybe want to acquire a thing, like they want to buy something, or so they have needs to get provisions or something. Well, the town that we would have got the thing from is being overrun by orcs and was raised, so there's like no food. Like, people could be starving in the next town over because it could have been their source, their bread basket.
Or, you know, all the leather for leather working came from that town. So if you want a backpack, it now costs you 200 gold.
Yeah, exactly. Some scarcity sort of metrics thing happening there.
So the other thing is, when you write your campaign, you should not be writing a long story arc. You have an idea of what you would like to do, but you have to realize that your players are going to do something different. They're going to derail your concept, your story.
They're going to steal a boat at some point and run away.
And what you need to do is you need to write your pieces. Like, you can write a couple sessions in advance if you really want, but be prepared to scrap a lot of that material,
or figure out how to refurbish it and reuse it in some other capacity.
Right. So, all right, the players fled the town. All right, that town is sacked. People, the next town is dealing with refugees. There's raids and stuff going on. Where are they planning to go? If you don't know what to do, ask the players. All right,
what do they plan to do?
What do you plan to do? Because you ran away from the fights that were there in front of you. What do you guys want to do? And they will give you some ideas that you can then seed the work in between sessions and go in a direction that you know that they're going to be happy with.
Forget in between sessions. First of all, okay, let's deal with what happened. Okay, they fought the orcs. They ran away from the orcs. They stole the boat. They're in the boat. You're in the boat. Where are you going?
So and also too, for one thing, so they're fleeing north, but so it sounded like he set the stage that though the encounter was with these 5 orcs, that the town is becoming besieged by orcs. So they're like, oh shit, we don't want to be closed off in a sieged town with orcs, and we apparently somebody else better be the heroes of this town because it's not going to be us. Yeah. All right, so sorry to interrupt. But,
no problem. But yeah, exactly. So, but the point is, like, so they get in the boat. Well, the first question is, where are you going to go? We're going to take the boat north. Well, do you, as the GM, have an idea what's north? If not, you need to figure it out right now and put it there. And 2, like, you can always, like, throw out any old kind of combat as a delaying tactic, right? They could run into river brigands, right? Open up the DMG to the thug page, or, you know, to where, not the DMG, to the monster manual, to the NPCs, and pick a handful of NPCs in there, and they're on a boat, and now they're coming towards them. And at first, you could start off with role playing and that boat might signal your boat, and the players might be, oh, you don't want to go back that way because there's orcs and you should turn around and run away, and they're like, yes, we should, but first we should take all your valuables.
Thug is on page 350 of your monster manual.
There's a pirate in there, a buccaneer or something, I'm sure.
And those are all good sized.
I mean, really, too. They could when they're on this barge, sturges could attack them. Like, so you could have just animal attack encounters, sort of things like that going on.
Roctopuses falling from the cliffs.
There you go.
If you really want to up the game, you could put a giant crocodile in there. So that's a nice challenge 5. It'd be good for a party of level 3s.
Some River Sahagan, you could definitely do some other things that are, one, it buys you a little bit of time. It gives you, possibly, depending on how you set up the scenario, it could be role playing and then combat, or maybe these players aren't fighting nothing and they just hand over all their stuff.
So also, as they're venturing further up north, you could just put an interesting feature that they might want to explore. Oh, here's like a really archaic looking ruined tower off to the like within 2 miles of the river. You can see that, or it glows with an eldritch light,
or
it could just some feature
like that, or even closer if they want to investigate it.
Yeah.
Or like if it's further away, it takes time to travel there. You could do some random encounters on their way, or if it happens to be closer where they can get there fairly quick, you could just stage that area and have an encounter. Maybe you probably wrote other material, right? So, because you had a chapter, or at least the first part, the first chapter, so that implies there's other things. Why not just take one of those other encounters you planned on using and throw it at them on this river journey? Just, you might have to reskin some of the monsters and make them something else.
Right.
Whether it's just literally using a different monster from the monster manual or just describing the monsters you have differently.
So it sounds like what he wanted, or he or she wanted them to do, is to have this whole like siege fight thing of a town. Further up north, other towns could have been besieged by the orcs. Maybe they came southward. So the next civilization they encounter, there could be like orc skirmishers on a barge.
Even before that, they might encounter refugees running away.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're running from these orcs. They're running from different orcs or the same orc tribe. They meet in the middle and like, you don't go that way. There's orcs. I'm like, no, you don't go that way because there's orcs.
So
where do we go? There's orcs
they're
everywhere.
Between orcs. Yeah,
So-
it could be possible.
so-
West. We go west.
Yeah, then they go west.
Hippo needs to figure out what the orcs are doing.
More importantly, find out what the players are doing, and then make the plans around what the players are doing. Right?
True. But he needs to know. We need to know what the players are doing. Needs to know what the orcs are doing, so that it can fit in with whatever he wants to do. The other part of Hippo's question is, how does he improve his improv?
How do you
skills?
improv? Oh, you put an E on that. Improve. No.
So realistically, it's about options, and I don't know how much you do with creative thinking. I don't know how much you think outside the box of what's there, but we've got all these D&D books full of inspiration. We've got over 1,200 Nerdarchy videos where we talk about stuff.
Improving your improv, I think.
So you can check that out. We'll try and see if we can grab the link for that. But think about your options.
Ted's going to put it in the description for you guys.
Oh, I am? Okay, well, I'll try and find that then. But, if you think about what your creative options are and make a list of, okay, well, if the party does this or if the party does that, the more things you can, like, you don't want to plan for every contingency. That's just going to take up too much of your time. But the more things that you think and jot notes down, the more you can prepare your brain to be thinking outside the box so that when the party does something crazy, you can throw something out there.
Part of being better at improving is just really improving your knowledge of the game and the rule set. So as you run more games, you're just going to get more adept at running games, which is going to give you it's like jazz music, right? Like jazz is very like improv driven. But it's because you know the core basis of playing music so well that you become a better improv musician. Same thing with like running games. The more narratives you tell, you're eventually just going to get better at storytelling. So that's going to be a part of it. But also we're saying that if you know where your players want to go, that's actually going to prompt you to have to improv less because they're telling you this is the material you should write if they're telling you what they're doing. So that's
Yeah,
a good. If you write essentially a session ahead, if you can, as opposed to 2 or 3 sessions ahead, that's going to help you drastically because you're not going to. The more you write, the more you're going to feel married to that, and you want to keep your options open. You want to be polyamorous with your options of encounters.
Yeah, I was going to mention that one thing with improving how you improv is letting go of what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of get hung up.
It becomes
on the
precious.
idea of being like, I need to do this because I planned it. This is how the world needs to go. Yeah. While your players are over, they're never going to see whatever you just made.
The one tip I will give for improving is listen to your players. Because they're going to ask questions and they're going to say things. Take that information, regurgitate it back into your game right then and there, because that's less you have to think about ahead.
Sometimes, this is great too. Sometimes if your players are speculating out loud with what they think is going to happen, steal it. Have that come up in a session or two. Make that thing that they thought they feared happening happen.
Unless,
they willed it.
Unless
it just
you
builds
have
on the paranoia level.
Unless you have a super paranoid player. Because then things are going to go crazy.
No, I mean, you don't have to do it all the time, but if what somebody says is actually better than what you had kind of plotted out loosely in your head, do it.
Absolutely. 100%.
But what's the worst that could happen? A doppelganger mayor gets killed?
Yeah. That's all.
Steal from your players. With that, guys, you have some tips for Hippo to put into the comments below on how to be a better improv DM. Let us know while you're at it. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can find us over on Instagram.
You can tweet at us at Nerdarchy.
Just check out the articles over at nerdarchy.com.
So until next time, stay nerdy.
Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Ted.
Right, the Nerdarch.
Nerdarchy Dave.
And in this GM 911, we're going to address Killer Orcs, run away!
If you have a GM 901, you can send us an email over at nerdarchy@gmail.com. Players off at level 3 to jump right into the action. It gives them more wiggle room and less death possibilities right off the bat. First encounter, they run into a group of 5 orcs. After felling 2 of them, they run away from the encounter. They run away from town. And he wants to know...
Steal a boat.
Steal a boat. What do I do now? Orcs are pillaging the town that they were supposed to be there to protect. And he's kind of stuck.
Yeah, well, so apparently there's other Orcus raids happening, and the whole thesis of Hippo's adventure hinged on the players intervening on behalf of the town.
So one of the things Hippo wants to know is how to help him improv.
Or you can head over to the GM 901 section of our forums over on nerdarchy.com.
Okay, so Hippo.
So we have a GM 901 from Hippo.
So somehow an aquatic mammal, has learned to type with its massive feet. So that's pretty impressive in of itself.
And he wrote the campaign, started the
and so essentially it sounds like Hippo has wrote out his story and the players to route it. He doesn't know what to do, but it's not really that hard. Like, here's the deal. Like, actually, we don't know if Hippo's a he or a she.
They. We'll go with they. Yeah.
They. Hippo. If they did this and they sacked the town or whatever, and